This is The Potty with Serene and Pearl. Get it right, Poddy.
It's the Trim Healthy Podcast, the potty you love to hate because we talk over each other. Got some questions. Just one question, actually.
I do know some people really do hate our show. We
actually
some
suck.
comments.
We have haters.
We have haters, but
Wow,
somehow they still
fun.
listen. They still listen.
We're bad.
I don't know why they still. I think because we do bring some meat, but it's in a lot of stew.
Yeah,
You got to get
a lot of
through.
The stew is our conversation
Anyone like
style.
the stew?
Lots of people love the stew.
A lot of people like
Because
it.
I just can't eat meat without stew.
I like
Like-
a lot of gravy and peas.
So if I'm going to be here on the podcast, I'm going to have to bring stew. And so,
Yeah, no, we are who we are. People have realized
I
they
can't
can't change us
change.
because we used to get a lot of advice on how to do our potty. Like, could you just be that way? And then they
No.
realize, no, they just
I
And the
can't
answer
be
is
that
no.
way.
they
Well-
just can't. But they still listen. I realize we're not for everyone. There are people really that love our trails, and obviously we got a lot of listeners, and it keeps growing.
Well, this
But
came
we've
from the
got
Unshow,
some-
Pearl, and that was
I know.
only trails.
But we do have some people that listen in, but are very frustrated at us.
Well, this, I mean,
I'm
in
sorry.
real life, in
Yeah,
family
I don't-
dynamics,
Don't like frustrating people.
people
Yeah.
talk over each other, and it's in a living room setting, a lively thing.
Yeah.
It's how especially if you're in a big family and you can't get a word in,
Yeah.
you have to shout over your sister.
We were trained into this.
Yeah, so it
survival.
comes, big family and
We're the youngest.
But no,
So-
I think what has helped is the people that really used to be frustrated at us and now watching us on YouTube. And I've heard from a lot of them. I actually get you now. They say I get what it is
Ah,
because a lot of podcasts are just kind of informational.
I
people-
get bored.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know when I'm really researching a subject and I need to know facts and figures.
Yeah,
I can kind of understand where they're coming from
yeah.
because I just want to know something that I want to know, and I keep fast forwarding. Are they there yet?
Well, that's
Are they
why
there
they're
yet?
going to read the books and stuff.
Yeah, no, right. That's why we
Yeah.
so we're conversational style and we rabbit trail and
We just are who we are. And that's just when we talk,
so people love
You're
it.
Celine Dion's little sister.
should.
It is so spot. I can't unsee that. Especially
You're
today.
trying to not be my friend or
If
something.
Well, it's
told
so
you
mean when you
like
people say that you look like her and then you say, oh,
I didn't say, I just I'm Serene, not Celine, you know?
You're Serene Dion.
yeah.
It's just traumatic
Oh,
slightly.
I thought you were gonna
She's
sing.
had
People
say
have
all
come
her
up
life
to me
and told her
singing
to
the
sing.
song, sing it in Costco. Because
They think you're
Nashville,
her?
there's lots of different music people that live
Yeah.
or come in to, use the different studios or whatever. I don't know. But they come up to me in the Franklin, Costco. I've had many people come up,
serious?
Which
especially
song
there.
do they sing?
They sing that Titanic one.
They'll just start singing to you?
Yeah.
And especially, is it lately or when you were younger more?
It's been more, I don't go in Franklin as much now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You got to own it.
like
Like,
5 years ago.
why don't you just lean in and like start singing?
Have you ever pretended that you're her and said, oh,
I
thank
would do
you?
it.
No.
You got to do it.
I don't say much. I'm just like,
Hey,
but I don't say
I've
thank
got
you.
a viral video idea to grow our brand.
Yeah.
We take Serene Dion into Costco and you just hum, it's all coming back. Isn't that the song she sings? It's all
No,
coming back.
that's Meatloaf.
No,
it's
it's
not.
Celine Dion.
Might Loaf.
She
I
always
Isn't that
thought we've
Celine?
already established it's Meatloaf.
no.
It's all coming back to me
Hamburger
now.
is what I told
Yeah,
Lisa.
she
No,
said we've already established it's hamburger.
That's-
It's not hamburger. It's Celine Dion. Hamburger sings. Hamburger sings. Do anything
Yeah.
for love,
Yeah.
or 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Okay.
Or was that
Okay.
the same song? But we need to get to some. Right now, we're so off track, and this is why
We're
people
really
hate us.
making the
Because-
They don't
frustrated
even
people
love us at this
frustrated.
point.
Well, they've tuned out, and that's because we
With them
suck.
turned off to another podcast,
So we better get the ones that are left.
I don't
and bring
think
them
they should
something.
listen at all, but they do. 3 poor people on a brown couch talking about their ideas. This is the Trim Healthy Podcast.
It's not brown. It's
gray.
sage gray green.
Well, because we're hiding the
it's
doo-doo couch over there.
Gray.
That's doo-doo brown.
Who designed their set? A construction worker?
They really double hate us, triple hate us. Okay. We actually have no meat to fry. Anyway, on this podcast, we're taking questions, which gets meaty.
Okay.
Which gets meaty.
let's go to Roberta. And we go to her as if we have like a million. We actually have a lot of questions
We have
that
so many.
come in. Like
But we only choose the ones we want to answer.
When I was in Mexico,
the ones that make us look good when we
I was
answer.
in Mexico eating breakfast at some joints that weren't as local. They were more touristy. They'd have the TVs up.
Yeah.
You know the ones that have the TVs up for the Westerners,
Yeah.
you know?
Blows
But they
my
don't
mind.
have the Western channels. They have their Spanish channels.
Mhm.
And you just reminded me of like, let's take a question from Roberta. The people on the TV, they have these very bright clothes
Mhm.
like that.
Yes.
They look exactly
the
like
Spanish
you.
people.
Yes.
Do you notice they're more dramatic on
Busted.
TV than
They are.
Westerners?
Dramatic.
They are way more
Telemundo is a thing.
way more
larger than life?
larger than life.
I just
And
realized
just
I'm
what you did
chest
just
hairing
then.
big time. Let me get these glasses
Just
off.
what you did just then, you were one of them. You were such a Spaniard.
I'm a big, large Spanish man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You are.
well,
Get to
people-
the question.
people quadruple
Enough
measure.
with them.
Orderly.
Enough. It's with the Dan.
Oh, it just reminded me. I just thought about it. Sorry.
Golly.
Let's go to Roberta. And she writes, I would love to hear the negative effects of sugar on the body and what happens when you get off sugar or fueling for pre and
No,
post.
I told you, Danny, when I gave you this question, when I passed it to you, stop when it goes on to the next thing. I said stop. And you couldn't even get that right. As a host, what on earth do we pay you for?
I don't know the people listening to it. I said to Pearl when she wanted to pose that question, I thought, well, it was a good question for this lady. She needs to know it. But for everybody else, they already know the answer to this question. I thought it would be boring.
No, it's not a boring question. It's really good. I know it's fundamental trim healthy mum or like why not eat sugar. But there could be someone that's been on this plan for 9 years and kind of forgets, like, why shouldn't I eat sugar now? But sugar's everywhere. Shouldn't I just be so balanced and have sugar? I actually feel that way sometimes. Like, what am I doing? I should have a piece of that cake. So I feel like we need to look at what sugar does.
Wow.
Is it one of the natural food groups of the world? Like, is it so hideous and scary that we should never touch a grain of it ever again? Does it have a place somewhere? What does it do to our bodies? How can we all uniquely approach sugar on
You're
plan?
good. You were on a roll. It was good. You didn't say, you didn't say, you're good.
Jesus, can you wake him up? I don't know what's wrong
Okay,
with
well,
him.
we could just do it.
He did not take his meds today.
Okay. So, is it one of the food groups? Like, no.
No.
Because, yes, if you're talking sugar cane,
Mhm.
that you just want to chew on that. Have you ever chewed on straight sugar cane?
Mhm.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty delicious, but it's so fibrous. You don't get much out, right?
Where do you
And-
get straight sugar cane from?
Oh, yeah.
Grow it in the fields.
No.
No, I've had it from the stink store here in town.
Oh, we're going there again.
It's the International Food Market, but my children and my husband call it the stink store.
We've spent whole parties trying to fix that word. This party is going downhill. I don't know how we can just get back on track.
Anyway, I had brought straight sugar cane. It's amazing, but I'm telling you, it's more like a gentle carb than the sugar that you find in your cake that you eat at Aunt Marge's house.
So yes, can I try to fix things here, Danny?
The
So sugar
stink
is
store.
growing on this earth. It's not a chemical that's man-made.
It's fine when it's like that.
It's the same thing as fruit, right?
I made my children of the hilltop grow up chewing it and running around the fields.
Yeah.
I used to buy it weekly from the stink store.
So sugar cane
You're saying it
itself
over and over.
is
Like-
not.
Like we
What
can't
is
exist
offensive?
in the modern world.
What is offensive about the stink store? I love the stink
Why
store.
does it stink?
The fact that it
It's
stinks
fish.
is other things too. But the fact that it stinks means it's real food in there. If you go into a store and you smell the smell of deodorants, I bet you Sovereign John is with me on this. The smell of cleaners, bleach, strong stuff like that, the smell of perfume, you know that the food in there is probably not real. Yes. But listen, the stink store, you smell that live fish. You smell that rotten pig intestines that people buy to menudo stuff. You smell it. You smell
What's
the
menudo?
live fresh food. You smell the fresh mushrooms that aren't
But I'm
packaged
trying
in
to talk about
plastic
sugar.
and sealed.
I'm trying to talk about sugar.
Great. Go for it.
So I
Was
wanted,
this question right?
Yeah, that was the question.
Well,
Can
I was
read it?
I was reading it, and then you were like, "No, that's not it."
No, because she asked more questions, and I wanted to stop there so we could.
Oh, this is
address it.
a three-parter.
Yeah,
See, if you would have explained that to me in the
but I
beginning,
did. Even
She
Leslie
did.
says I did.
she said
Bell,
this
Yes.
sugar,
on the
go,
show or
Pearl.
before. Well, that doesn't even count. Take your phone.
Wow.
Take it.
So sugarcane is not an evil thing that man
No, it's
dreamed up to
brilliant.
harm our bodies. It's a natural plant from the earth, and we're all about eating foods from the earth, right? But it's what happens to it, and then with what happened to it, what occurs in your body when you eat it. It's a similar thing to no. You're going to let me finish, by Joves. I'm going to hush you up until I finish.
Important. It only goes there.
Okay.
Other things, foods on the earth, things of the earth, we can isolate stuff from.
Yeah.
Other things, but certain foods become poison when we do that, right? Certain foods where we find our bioidentical hormones, we can isolate stuff and get vitamin C to take when we've got the flu, right? But isolating just the sweet part of the sugarcane, taking all the wonderful fibrous, it's almost like wood, the sugarcane. It's got so much fiber in there. When you isolate certain foods, you're just not meant to.
They could have waited.
No, it couldn't have.
Should
It's
have
like
forgot.
fruit, right, Serene?
Yeah,
We've always said from the beginning of our plan. So at the beginning of Trim Healthy Mama, we're like, sugar is not actually on plan. Sugar cane is a great food. Fruit juice is not on plan.
Yeah.
Why? Because it does very harmful things to your body.
pancreas in
Yes.
particular.
And to your insulin levels and to your blood sugar levels. And the same thing happens with isolated sugar. Okay.
You mean like orange juice?
I call
I do
orange
mean
juice
orange
sugar.
juice. Yeah.
Like it's not fruit to me.
Well,
that's
what
part
the
of the
fastest
sugar.
thing to get a type 1 diabetic's sugar up when they are in a
Erin, fellow grandma to Pearl, right? She's been on this potty before. What was her potty called?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
She was on. She's an incredible mum to special needs, two little special needs. Not rabbit training Pearl, but she has a beautiful daughter who's type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
She's married now. I'm telling you all the details. But I can't fix it.
She's married now. They're struggling in the area of communications.
I'm not. But anyway, when she has a low blood sugar attack, they're
She's
quite
type
serious.
1 diabetic.
It's dangerous. She has to have a special dog.
It's unfixable.
It's not
A
fixable.
work dog. And she has special monitor attached to her body. But listen, when she has an attack, they've tried everything. They've tried Snickers bars. They have tried all kinds of things to get her sugar levels up. The fastest is fruit juice.
My goodness,
That
but that's
was a
what
poison-
I was trying to say that. You just didn't let
She's got a beautiful English Australian Shepherd. Eats softer food, not the hard stuff. They water it down a little bit. Peas in the afternoons mainly.
oh my goodness.
Okay, but
Well, yes.
orange juice, like even if it's 100% squeezed, no filler, right?
But
Just-
what we're trying to say is we're not picking on sugarcane.
yes.
We're picking on all isolated sugars that have been
And
taken.
here's
the
what I
fiber's
want to
been
say
stripped
to
off of them.
Roberta. She's like, what happens to your body when you eat sugar? It's a similar thing to what happens.
Roberta, 'cause I know it's
I
Roberta.
said Roberta. It's a similar thing.
Roberta. She goes back to her old habits.
I can't even fix anything. I feel like there's nothing in my head, and
When we started this party with Daddy complaining about how frustrating we make
and it's coming true.
It's a prophecy.
What you predicted
We placeboed
is
and
happening.
sugar-filled it.
So
Why are y'all
many
weeping?
listeners. This
You're
might
weeping.
be their last party
Turn it off.
ever.
Just turn it off. We promised you it would suck. And do we deliver?
Oh my goodness, I've got so much to say
This
though, and I
reminds me of the time
can't.
Pearl and I used to tour. We used to sing. And once
Shouldn't be.
What did you sing?
Once we started giggling at the beginning and we were paid big bucks to sing at this particular place.
I don't know why we were
And
paying big bucks.
I don't know why, but it was
Serene,
like,
big bucks then was like $300.
I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, superstars. Yes.
No, we drove our real cheap Junko cars there 5 hours, so we weren't flowing in a jet there.
It's the details that
No,
she
but
doesn't.
listen, guess what? We started laughing in the beginning and we never could fix it.
We couldn't.
An hour in, the people just kept on just walking out. We were like this the whole time.
Oh, it's
We
bad.
go to sing a long note, we just stop and crack and giggle.
It's bad.
You
I had
laugh-
I had to start thinking of people that had died and everything to try and fix it. I couldn't fix it.
You would laugh through your show?
It's just that
Yeah, the whole
I
time.
actually have a lot that I want to
Bring it.
say. I would love to actually.
Let's try.
I would love
No
because
one's holding you
Roberta
back.
wants. No, you are. You are holding me back because when I say something,
Thank you, Leslie. Leslie, do you have anything for me?
You've got something that you want to share, but it
You don't wear
derails.
mascara, you don't need none.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
So where were we?
So you were saying
what it does to your blood sugar.
your blood sugar and orange
Okay,
juice.
so what happens is these things, like sugar and like juice that is separated, they're not evil things in themselves. Really, it's the amounts. And you could say to yourself, well, just have a tiny bit of sugar. It won't hurt you. You know what I say to that? Sure, it's true. It depends upon who you are. I can actually have a tiny bit of sugar here and there in my life. Like if someone brings over to my house, like, a muffin they made and it's my daughter-in-law and she made it with sugar, I will totally
She usually
accept
makes
that.
it with coconut
Yeah,
sugar, though.
but I'll totally accept that with love because it's not my mainstay and every day, and it doesn't send me into huge derailment.
You're only going to take a little cut of a knife and taste it.
No, what if
and
I have
thank
the
her.
whole thing? Big deal.
Yeah, but
it's not a big
you.
deal
You don't
to
usually
me.
do that. It's
No,
not.
hey, stop speaking for me.
I know, but I know you.
Okay, but I could have that sugary muffin. It will not derail me. I'm not going to do it every day. But let's say she brings one over. You bet I'm going to have one because she made it with love, right?
Yeah, but hers is coconut sugar.
No, stop.
I'm talking to the woman that's having the white refined stuff and she gets derailed.
I'm about to get to her.
Putting your hand on my thigh.
Okay, so what happens is it depends upon who you are.
Yeah, because I'm the opposite of that.
Yeah, that doesn't throw me off. But
Yeah.
there are many people, it's a trigger in their brain from past sugar abuse or from just their genetic
Me.
makeup.
That's me.
It sends them into a tailspin. It does
Yes.
much more extreme things to their body.
If I have a sip of a Coca-Cola
Yeah.
at a function, I'm like Ron Swanson going back to Tammy, which if you don't understand
No,
the reference,
don't.
you need to watch
Do I need
It's
to
Parks
watch
and
it?
Recreation.
Do I need
Parks and
to watch
Recreation.
it?
I've been
You can
told I
YouTube-
need to watch
You can
that.
YouTube Ron and Tammy.
Noble told me I need to watch
But I
that.
totally
That
I'll
means I
braid
don't need to watch
cornrows
that.
in my hair and I'll get a face tattoo
Yeah.
if
So
I have a sip of Coke.
now some people, it just sends them into a cycle where their body starts wanting more and more sugar.
And some people,
Yeah.
just one muffin, they're so metabolically ruined for now. There's hope and there's healing, but they will start, they can get spiked really quickly.
yeah.
Like Nadia, and for because Jeremiah's sitting here and his mom, if she has just a little bit of sugar, she can just take one cookie she'd think is Trim Healthy Mama. Somebody will leave some cookies on a bench and she'll come and say, oh, Trim Healthy Mama, I'll taste. And she'll realize, oh my goodness, somebody dropped these off and they're not. She will start shaking. She gets affected by sugar.
You know what Danish wedding cookies are?
Yeah, you've talked about
The
them
little
several
ones?
times on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, go derail us a little bit more.
They if I didn't stop it, I would have been a homeless crack addict.
From Danish cookies.
That's where it
Yeah.
started, and I spiraled. That's when I broke and had a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, I even have a little sugar because I've got my 100% chocolate here, but I can eat at 85. That's got sugar in it. It's just pure cane sugar. But
little
it's
bit.
not enough to harm my body.
So let's talk about what happens when sugar goes into the body. More than what's
I
in
take
85%.
communion, it's straight grape juice.
Yeah, of course. So we're not talking about these little things. We're talking about a daily dose of sugar where it's in bigger amounts than in your 85% chocolate, because that's really insignificant.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking about moderate to significant amounts of sugar here. What happens to the body? So it goes into the body, and, whenever we eat something that involves protein and healthy carbs, we get a blood sugar rise. Now, that is supposed to happen. And we're supposed to get a blood sugar rise, which signifies to our insulin to come out and remove that blood sugar rise, remove the sugar and put it into our cells. The glucose, it's now called. So the sugar becomes glucose. And that's well and good. That's the way we're created. But you see, sugar causes a much faster and a much higher rise.
It's more like a shock.
Yes. And so what happens is insulin, the hormone insulin, has to come out to deal with it. But insulin can usually not deal with the amount that is currently in the bloodstream. So it isn't, it's not built big and strong enough to deal with that amount of blood sugar in the bloodstream.
It's not a natural form of it because
No.
it's a deranged.
So it does its job. It puts some in the muscle cells, whatever they can open to receive. And if you've got insulin resistance, your muscle cells aren't open very wide. They can receive a certain amount. And then there's, sorry.
Can I derail you for a
Yeah.
second? Insulin resistance can come from a lifestyle of eating a lot of foods like Pearl's describing, or it can come from sedentary and now being in a situation postmenopausal where you don't have your hormones which keep you insulin sensitive. And so,
you can come from a low carb diet.
Right. So you can actually be insulin resistant and not had like a diet like you had when you were a child.
Yeah. So what happens is you've still got blood sugar in your bloodstream. There was too much because it's not a normal rise. So insulin has to come out again. Now you've got double insulin. Okay, that's never a good thing because insulin then becomes a fat-storing hormone. How does it become a fat-storing hormone? Insulin it's not a big bad hormone. People like sneer at insulin it's you want to keep your insulin down. No, you want insulin.
It's the chimney sweeper. It's the street sweeper. It's the trying to clean up all the junk in the bloodstream that can't sit there. It's dangerous for blood sugar to sit there in the
how does it become a fat-storing hormone? It's when your muscle cells are full. They cannot accept any more glucose from the fact that you've got insulin resistance or you've just packed your cells too much with too much sugar anyway and they're so full. Either way. So your blood sugar has to go out of your bloodstream unless you will die if it remains there and it's too high. So the only other place it can go is in your fat cells.
It's like the hoarders, right? They have no more room in their bedrooms. Like that could be the muscles, the bedrooms,
That's a good analogy.
So they have to make big old lumps elsewhere. It just starts coming out
I have
because
a question.
their bedrooms are full.
And fat cells will never say no. Fat cells are never resistant. They are always welcoming.
They're kind of like the life of the party.
Yeah. But what was your question, Dan?
Big old life of the party. Is it the same with like foods that turn into sugars later, like macaroni and cheese?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That is like white sugar because they're devitalized. They don't have their fiber, and so they cause faster, stronger, more venomous rises in your bloodstream.
Can I be totally frustrating and just talk over the top of you?
Yeah, you can now because I just wanted to get us onto a plane where we're giving some meat.
Good point, and we've tried to touch on that today, but really good bringing it up again, Daddy. When you said is mac and cheese kind of like whatever? Yeah, like I said before, we're not picking on cane sugar itself. Sugar, what we're talking about is anything that does that dangerous rise, right? And so this could be fruit juice that has no cane sugar in it. You'll be like 100% fruit juice. Oh, great. This is natural. Let me drink it down. And you'll be a person that doesn't eat sugar. Well, you might as well have had the 85% chocolate with the real cane sugar in it.
Yeah.
So, it's not necessarily about picking on sugar.
So what you're saying is, mac and cheese, that sort of thing.
White bread, white rolls, having a couple before your dinner at O'Charlie's.
Because the body converts it to sugar.
Yeah.
It does.
Is it converting it to sugar or fat or what?
No, blood sugar.
Okay.
It converts it to blood sugar. And then your insulin hormone has to put it places. So it's only got two places to put it.
Glucose in the muscle.
Muscles. If the muscles are closed, then it's the fat.
Can I tell you something my daughter came up to me and shared with me, and then I answered her as best as I could, and I want you to sort of grade me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if it was so she's 9, okay?
She your baby.
My youngest baby. She can do no wrong, unfortunately, for the world. And she came up and unprompted, there is no body shaming in my house or anything. She came up to me all by herself and she grabbed her little belly pooch and she was like, Daddy, how do I get rid of this?
Oh,
This is a 9-year-old. I don't talk Trim Healthy Mama at home, by the way. This isn't my, at home I'm grilling or something, or we're playing basketball. And she was like, I need to get rid of this, Yeah. And I was like, oh, I said, well, first of all, you're beautiful just the way you are. Why do you want to get rid of that? What made you think, I did all the positive, like getting rid of that doesn't make you beautiful or important or anything like that. It's your heart. We went through, because I want to make sure she's
confident,
sane.
She is.
Right.
You got to be sane.
Yeah.
Like you can get zealous and lose your sanity.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Even as a kid. So I don't want her to go down that dark,
yeah, for sure,
especially
anorexia path, right? And so I said, well, I'll just tell you how. I said, first of all, Daddy's got one too. So here's why. I said, I've been eating more mac and cheese than I have steak. And I said, what usually happens is is exactly what I told her. I said, when on our plate, we have way more carbohydrates than we do like protein and vegetables. We're going to get little pooches. We'll get pooches here. We'll get pooches here. We'll get pooches here. It's just the body turns it into sugar and it stores it in our fat. And it's not about who we are or our beauty or anything like that. It's just, what are your goals? So if your goals are to see that go away, then the way to do that is just science. You would just have more protein than you would carbs on your plate.
Yeah, and I think I want you to answer that too, Pearl. But I think you said that so beautifully, and I think
and was
amazing,
it healthy? Like, I don't want to
yes,
create a complex.
I don't think you
did
did.
not create a complex. You were so amazing.
Okay.
The only thing I would say is, it's the type of carbohydrates too.
Okay.
Because a
You
little
don't wanna
girl
lump
running
all
around,
bad carbs.
she needs carbohydrates, and
Yeah.
protein is so
Yeah.
dense that it's going to look smaller sometimes, like a little chicken breast, which gives all the protein that she would need
A
at
small
9.
portion.
Yeah.
4 to 6 ounces gives everybody what they need.
So, I mean, not everybody. You could have a big bodybuilding man that
Oh,
wants to,
right.
But a 9-year-old
Yeah.
girl, a little
Yeah.
chicken breast is perfect. It's going to look smaller than maybe like
Okay.
a couple of sweet potatoes she wants on the
Yeah.
side. Good, gentle, slow burning carbs.
Okay.
It's going to be fine, especially. So I agree with you. She needs to balance it out with protein and balance it out with veggies, but it's okay for the carbohydrate portion to be big on the plate for a child running around, as long as it's gentle, but also to encourage outdoor fun or indoor activity.
She runs full time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
And also,
I love what you said,
if she's
Danny. It was
9,
amazing.
yeah, and I think it's really good. And if she's 9, I was a pretty trim kid, but at 9, you haven't developed a woman's figure where it goes in and then goes out in the different fat dispersions.
Yeah.
So your belly will just stick out. That's normal for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, that's the thing is it's
Well,
not,
there is normal and then there's not normal.
right.
I've seen the
of
diabetic
course.
9-year-olds. Have you?
Yes, no, for
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
But she's not that.
she doesn't
No,
have the
she's not
overweight
that. No.
look.
No.
She's
No.
got a pooch.
Yeah, right.
And she ain't ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Right.
She's just like, yo, and she shows it off like any other day.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
would be.
But no, the fact is, if a child is eating more mac and cheese and not enough protein and stuff like that, that will happen.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the healthiest thing for her growth. So it's good for children to learn what's healthy,
Yeah.
but not,
Yeah.
of course.
Like-
and I don't think
And
you
you did it
shamed
so
her or
beautifully.
anything.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, like I want to have that. I want to nail that balance of like, because I'm her dad,
Yeah.
and you are all fair, my
Yeah.
beautiful
Yes,
little
of
queen.
course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I want to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, like I'd almost like take the overweight kid. Not that balance is good, so you don't have
Yeah.
to pick. But
Yeah.
if I have to pick, right? Like,
Right.
I
If you
want
have
her
to
be,
pick. And
You're
I
gonna
agree
pick
with that.
all
Then
love.
there's the other thing is that if you can do it in kindness, show her healthy habits. That is a beautiful gift too, because you know that when she is 19, 20,
Mhm.
and maybe wanting to find somebody, it can make her feel insecure if it's not a healthy curve. If it's
Yeah.
actually a curve that's
an overweight curve.
Inflammatory
that's
curve.
inflammatory to her
But
body.
next time you get the chance, if it comes up, because you don't need to go to her and say, now we're going to learn about good and bad carbohydrates.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
But if it comes up, I don't want any of my children in particular and my grandchildren, now that they're around, to think that carbs are the ones to look down on, because carbs are the
Carbs don't necessarily turn into the sugar we're talking about.
it's the refined.
It's the refined ones, the spikers.
Like, what do you mean,
Fruit
spikers?
juice that's had the
Okay.
fiber removed, right? Cane sugar, anything that's had all of its self-deranged, it's not like the sugar cane.
Pasta?
Or the white bread. Yes, the white pasta. We eat white potatoes at our house. That's not what I'm talking about.
No, because it's still got the fiber in it.
Yes.
It's still right.
So you mean almost like man concocted stuff? Pastas, breads.
Well, you
Yeah.
can have the pasta, like the brown rice pasta, that's healthier.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's perfectly on plan for a woman who's trying to lose
Or-
weight, but
or
it's
what
healthy
about-
for growing
Yeah.
children.
Or what about bread or pasta, but in such a balanced moderation?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
great.
and that's what
My
I
children
think.
live on bread. They have
Okay.
like 12 slices
But
a
they're
day,
whole
but it's
grain.
ancient whole grain, like it's as
But
dense as a house.
But Lisa
Yeah.
does whole grains in your home, though, doesn't she?
Not homemade bread.
No,
Yeah.
you guys
But-
buy white bread.
No, we get like I guess it's called whole grain bread.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Dave's.
Some
Dave's
yeah,
bread.
Dave's
Dave's
bread's fine,
bread.
but some regular like Kroger, just 100% whole wheat. Some children can do fine on it.
Yeah.
Others, it will.
Yeah, it
will-
depends where they are
it
metabolically.
depends, Yeah,
So we covered the basis of what,
oatmeal's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
of what kind of sugar does to the body, but we didn't go further.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's some further things what happens with our adrenaline and then our cortisol.
Can I say something when
Yeah.
you say about adrenaline? Like, a lot of people think the hyperactivity of children they're like, sugar. I've heard that it's not necessarily just the sugar high. It's actually an adrenaline rush
Mhm.
because it's a fight or flight moment. It's it's a shock moment to the body. It's like, I need to fix this situation, and adrenaline comes into the body
to burn.
Just to like, it's part of that. This is it's a dangerous situation
because
for the body.
blood sugar got so high.
It's
Yeah.
not
So
considered-
adrenaline is pushed out, and then
cortisol.
so we've heard, right, those of us who kind of like follow health, and we've heard that adrenals can get very squashed, can get very tired without enough carbs. Okay, so we know that carbs are important for our adrenal health. So a lot of people, with adrenal problems think, oh, I need my carbs. So they go, and I've even seen this.
Yes.
Have ice cream at night. You have your orange juice. You need to soothe your adrenals.
Yeah.
But here's what happens.
They even see it as part of their treatment.
Yes. And the same for thyroid. Carbs
Yeah.
are really good. But it's not, it actually makes things worse. Only the good, gentle carbs from the earth, like your sweet potatoes, like your fruit, like your
oatmeal.
oats, like your beans and legumes.
Yeah,
They
lentil
are
soup.
perfection for your adrenals because they give your body, they stimulate serotonin.
And the
okay?
right kind of bread.
Yeah. Serotonin is your feel-good chemical in your brain, and it soothes your body. It says everything's okay. It actually soothes your mood, but it also soothes your adrenal glands.
Yes.
It said, you're okay, baby girl. You're just fine. I'm not going to churn out a whole bunch of cortisol here. So cortisol is our stress hormone. And when cortisol goes up, we can't shed weight. So it's this vicious
Yes.
cycle. So then people go and they think, okay, I really need my carbs, my adrenals. I got told by this naturopathic doctor that my adrenals are just tanked. So I'm going to go need my carbs. And so therefore sugar is good for me in my current stage.
Yeah.
I need sugar. I've actually heard women tell me this.
Yes.
But you see, sugar undoes it all. It's like polar opposite to no carbs.
Yes.
No carbs hurts your adrenals, but too many carbs hurts your adrenals. The carbs that are like spiky, like sugar,
Right.
like mac and cheese. Because they do that thing where they
so
go
when she
and
says too many carbs, I really want people to hear
Yeah.
that. It's the type of carbs.
Yeah.
And of course you don't want to sit down to like 8 apples in a row
Yeah.
or like 7 sweet potatoes. But Pearl and I are not afraid of gentle carbs.
no,
But
we love
potatoes are
them.
good carbs. What if you had butter?
Well,
That's
then
fine
it's just
for
a
you.
crossover.
It's fine for growing
It's
children.
just a crossover.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
Fine for
not.
me.
It doesn't
Yeah.
like turn it into like a
No,
bad
it
carb all
doesn't
of a
turn it
sudden.
into anything.
Actually,
it's
it's
just giving
slows
another
down.
fuel source.
It actually slows
Yeah.
down the rise of sugar of
Yeah.
that potato, the natural sugar.
But it's just more for your body to burn.
Yeah.
And if your body's compromised on burning, then you
you
know,
just-
that's the whole premise of Trim Healthy Mama. You
Yeah.
kind of burn one fuel at a
so
time.
you just make like a luscious onion and tomato gravy and pour it into the center of the potato.
Yeah, or you just
maybe
have one teaspoon of butter.
I know, but you could do both.
Yeah.
That's so
You ever
Yeah.
put salsa in a potato?
Oh, I love
it.
it.
Works.
Hot sauce, love it.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I was getting to that. So if you want to soothe your adrenals and you also want to have carbs, you don't need the spiking ones. Just the regular good carbs will be all that you need to create that serotonin and to create that soothing ability on your adrenals so they can stop churning out so much harmful cortisol.
Yes.
Because cortisol does harm us. But
And it
here's
puts
the
weight
thing.
on the middle.
If you
cortisol,
do the
redistributes
orange
its
juice, if you do the sugar, trying to think, well, I'm gonna help heal my adrenals,
weight. Yes.
it does it all because the rise of sugar is so high, it is actually a stressor.
Yes.
So what does your body do? Sends out the cortisol, which is what you wanted to stop. So it's actually undoing what you were trying to fix. So it is not, what is that word? A panacea? Panacea?
Yes.
It's not the panacea. It's not the fix for it. It's
Yes.
actually making things worse.
Yeah.
So if you've been told by someone, oh, to fix your adrenals, you need sugar. You don't.
Yes. And I've heard too for pregnant women, well, I've just been tired. And, so my midwife told me to start drinking some juice
Yeah.
to give me some energy. You actually get a crash after you get a spike.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to just do those slow burning carbs, the oatmeal, the sweet potatoes, the beans, everything that we've said, that's slow burning. Because
now honey's a little faster, but it's not nearly as fast as sugar. And there is room for some honey because it's teeming with minerals
yeah,
and
but
stuff.
people don't really drink a glass
No,
of honey.
they
you
don't.
know?
Anything
put a little
drinkable
on
goes
toast,
to your blood
you know?
sugar so much faster.
Yeah, a little on a
Yeah.
smoothie, little on toast. And
My
you know
daughter,
who you are, who you can take honey.
She stopped me after dinner because there was a honey on the counter, and I was just like, "Bam!" You're like, people don't drink that. I'm like, well, some people do. I took this shot of honey.
I'll take
Yeah.
a tablespoon just straight
Well,
just before workout.
She actually said, she goes, "Hey, because I told her I'll join her in making our carb portion smaller." Because I was like, "Yeah, Daddy's been thinking about it too." Like, funny you brought that up. So I said, "I'll do it with you, so you're not the only one." Like, because kids feel all deprived now because their teen brothers who are skinny as rails.
Yeah, and they have to actually have more carbohydrates.
Right. And they're like vacuuming the mac
It's
and
the carbs
cheese,
that are
right?
building their muscles too in their teens.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
Literally.
Well, she shut me down. She's like, "Hey, Dad, that's like that's not what we're doing." And I was like, "Yep, good." And she's like, "But now I want some." But it's so interesting. Like the example is a thing too. Like I've not been Mr. Portion Control either. You know.
Let's talk about what sugar looks like in some of our houses, because we're Trim Healthy Mama. What does it look like in our house? Do we ever have it in our cupboards? So what does it look like in my house? So, I don't eat sugar personally. I don't spoon it onto my oatmeal, but I have it in like 85% chocolate.
Except
occasionally.
occasionally.
Right.
Like, because you buy 100% because you like the taste better.
Yeah.
But if I have 85%, my purse
I'll
and
eat
we're
it. Sure. I don't have anything against that. Of course, I take communion on Sunday, which is grape juice.
Yeah.
I have no problem with like, it shan't touch my lips. No, it's fine. I actually have brown sugar in my cupboard.
Yeah. What do you use
Why?
that
Because
for?
my children make kombucha.
Oh, so they use that.
And there's
but it
sugar
gets
in
fermented.
kombucha, but not all of it gets fermented out. I still think of kombucha like if you're drinking a whole glass as an E.
Yeah.
I still think
There's some
still
residual
some. I'm
sugar.
not like totally against sugar. Christmas time, maybe Easter, my children get the organic sugar, which is just as bad, but the organic word makes me sleep at night, right? At least it doesn't have the chemicals and the colors in it, junk, right? But it's
they get an Easter egg.
It's still the same spike. It really is still the same spike.
Probably, yeah, it's the same
know?
spike, Serene.
But I'm just like, I don't want to be the weirdo that makes them leave my house and just go and
not
look
allow
for a
the
candy
Easter egg.
store to burgle.
Yeah,
You know what I
I know,
mean?
right?
So, we don't buy it as a regular. They don't have candy but Christmas time and Easter, But we do. We give it to them. It's the organic kind. And I also have the sugar in my cupboard because sometimes I'll make for them that traditional minty that we grew up on that our Nana would make to us. They call them minties. And it's like milk powder, honey, and brown sugar. And you boil it up and it becomes sticky. And you put essential oils of mint or mint essence in it. So delicious. And then I'll make that for them like once or twice a year. But it's not like sugar is like, it's skull and crossbones at our house.
No.
But my children live on stevia and honey and dunk is what we call it.
Yeah.
Like, because I think it's expensive for the amount of children that we have. None of our children have like any trouble. They're
metabolic
just really,
issues.
So they could have honey and everything, but it's expensive. So I'm like, cut that honey in half and add a dunk
Yeah.
of stevia. But it's probably good.
So
for
I
them
think
that way.
in our home, raising my children, I was probably a little bit more lenient. I didn't have I wasn't baking with sugar.
But we have no juice in our house.
Right.
No juice.
I never did.
Never juice.
I didn't do juice.
Except for Shabbat, they have grape
But
juice.
my husband would take my children out like once a week for fast food, and I knew like to McDonald's, it was their big thing with their dad. And there was probably like milkshakes involved and things like that.
All the horrible things.
And we had let them do, which Serene never did. We let them do fall festival. I'm not going to say the word Halloween. I don't want to make Serene mad. But our children would get they would get candy, and what would happen was I wouldn't let it stay around. They could eat it that day and the next day, and then mother was finding it. I'd chuck it
Serene,
because it undid their health, and that's when the flu season starts and colds.
Of course, sounds almost by design. No conspiracy here.
Yeah.
Serene, how hard did you judge her during those days?
During what
when my
days?
children dressed up
When
and went
she was
trick-or-treating.
dressing up and going to get candy.
trick-or-treating.
Like the double whammy.
I know
She
Pearl's
didn't.
heart.
Yeah.
And I know that her and I meet at Jesus.
That's right.
And so we're fine.
Okay,
we
you
had
weren't
the big TV.
No,
they
you
didn't
weren't
have the
praying
TV.
that she came to the light.
No.
I never actually felt a scrap of judgment
No.
Okay.
from her. But you see, it's a combined party. So when I say that my children did trick-or-treating, there might be many people listening thinking, we don't let our children do that. Well, they've got Serene to be on their side. And then all the others can, side with me.
Yeah.
So where would you trick or treat out here?
No, we wouldn't do it out here.
Like,
We would go
get all
into
10
neighborhoods.
houses?
We would go into West Haven.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's
walk
the
around
gold
there.
mine, dude.
That is the gold mine.
We slipped into West Haven last year.
For all those listening, West Haven is the wealthiest neighborhood.
One of them, yeah.
I know.
Well, it's just, and all the
Local.
houses are so close to one another. So, you're going to get a big haul.
Oh, yeah. They're tight, packed together.
You
Everyone
got
believes.
the big hole that you could chuck away.
I know, but it was the fun thing of getting as many as they could. It was like,
Serene, you need to let your kids come out this year. We'll all go to West Haven.
No. My children, they just, because they grew up with my brain and my
Yeah.
husband's brain, who is the same on this particular subject, They wouldn't want to. It's just not in there.
They
But
would
they love their cousins.
Well,
and
they've
it's just not a
confessed
big
to
deal.
us. So just so you know.
But
That's
so we talked about cortisol. We talked about its effect on the
The
adrenaline.
inflammation.
Oh, now let's
Oh.
talk about inflammation. Now,
Oh.
why, Serene? Why does sugar cause inflammation in the body? And because, I even hear it. I don't find like, I don't eat a lot of sugar, but if I do go on a cruise and I have a dessert or something, I don't get the aches and pains that people do.
Right.
But a lot of people feel it.
Yes.
Like it literally tears up their body with pain and bloating and stuff. So why is this?
Well, sugar in doses like that, anything that spikes your blood sugar like that, it's harmful to your organs.
Yeah.
It's harmful to your organs, and especially your pancreas. And when your organs can actually themselves become inflamed.
Mm-hmm.
And Pearl may be able to say a bunch of more science than me about that, but I've always seen it as the fact that it's a poison that is poisoning your organs first.
Yeah, and when you say poison, why are you saying that it is a poison? Because it's not acting naturally in your body, right?
Well, because it's causing a whole
cascade.
domino or cascade, better said, effect. That is a fight or flight, that is a cortisol situation, that is a situation that should not be happening. Like Pearl said, it is a beautiful thing. We want a rise in blood sugar. We do. We want the rise and the fall, the rise and the fall, the rise and the fall, like we see in nature, like the ebb and flow of the tide, right? Like the rise and fall of the moon. It's a beautiful thing when there's a rhythm
Except
to
the
things,
moon doesn't
right?
fall, but yeah.
Well, whatever.
But good, yeah.
Great. You got my point.
The rise and the setting of the sun. Okay.
Great, right.
I mean, technically speaking, the sun
I
doesn't
just meant
rise or fall.
Sure.
I just meant there's a switchover.
Yes.
It's my point being
Not to go all Bill Nye.
okay, but it's natural in life for there to be a rise and a fall and a rise and a fall, and we want that. We don't want a flatline dirge in our body. That is dangerous.
No.
We do not want that, because in a situation like that, then our body forgets how to clear sugar at all, and then you become carbohydrate intolerant. You become intolerant to foods that you actually need to flourish and survive well.
Wow.
But anyway, my point being, when it is not a natural little rise that our body knows how to clear lovely, then it is a dramatic like tsunami. And your body says, freak out. This is stress. This is not right. So it sends out, insulin, and the insulin can't, like Pearl said, it can't actually clear it properly. So it sends it out again, and that usually can't even clear it properly. And the body's like, weird, like things are happening to my body. I've got what I see now as a poison in my bloodstream, something that I cannot clear. And you cannot have sugar just running around in your bloodstream. And that's why you always burn glucose first. When you burn fuels, you always burn glucose first before you burn the fat, because your body has to clear it out of the bloodstream. So if it's stuck there and it can't go anywhere, it's seen as a danger.
But, it's funny when you're saying all that and I'm imagining it happening in the body.
Yes.
But I'm staring at that piece of cake or that something that I walk into Starbucks, right? And I'm like hungry. So I've got my egg white bites, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes even Pearl walks into Starbucks and she's in the mood for something sweet. I don't do it. But sometimes I look at that and think, why would that lemon cake be so bad for me? It looks delicious and it looks so harmless. Kind of looks little. Why would that be? And then my knowledge comes back and I just, my sanity arrives and I'm like, oh yeah, no, Pearl, it looks innocent, but it's not. It's like the wolf in sheep's clothing, right?
Yeah,
It's
but that's
harmful.
a lot of times things in life, the things that are going to harm us look pretty innocent.
They look innocent. And they look lovely.
You ever question God about the lemon cake though? You're like, why
Well,
can't this be right?
because we can make it right his way.
And that's why we've done this whole Trim Healthy Mama thing, to make those things delicious, healthy, and not inflammatory for our body.
Take the Emma wheat, take the grain that it was ancient, the one that he put on the earth before people messed it up, like Monsanto, right? And then you grind that, and then you make that. You add a little honey, because they didn't have the way we can produce stevia, and isolate just that sweet stevia side. But you put a little honey in that, it's not going to do the spike that is causing that dangerous situation I've been describing. Okay, so you've got this poison now in your bloodstream, and your body does not know how to clear it, so it tries to put it in the fat cells. And but this whole scenario, that whole stressor, is inflammatory.
So
because
if you
the organ, especially the pancreas, is the one that really gets out of sorts in that scenario.
So if you just want
because
sweets,
the pancreas is the one that's responsible for sending out the insulin.
You need to make time and work for it and make them rather
Or
than
buy them.
buy.
I mean, there's so many things
They're not
available
sold in
these
that-
days.
Oh, they're sold everywhere.
I mean, what do we do?
In this
Don't we
healthy-
sell stuff? Don't we sell?
Well,
we
the
just
Trim
sell
Healthy
brownie
Cafe,
mix
yeah.
and we
No,
just
but
sold
like you
cookie
can go
mix.
into any place you're going in to feel the pulse. Any big city,
Yeah,
there's things you can
And
go.
Healthy cakes?
well,
Like Whole Foods, you can get what you're talking about?
Well, you can get-
a protein bar.
Yeah. the protein
Hey, but
bar they got,
listen,
like-
Talking about lemon
I
cake.
don't usually do this, but I have to say something about our cookie mix, okay?
Yeah.
Because so actually Autumn invented it, and I'm hearing from people, they're sold out right now. It should be coming back. I don't know when this launches, if they're back. That cookie mix, Serene, have you had the cookies?
They're delicious.
So have you had them?
That's
I need
Never
to
had
get
it.
you a
Quickest-
packet.
No one's ever brought
Thing, when
any
you
to the
get-
podcast.
When you get that sweet, like I have to have sweet now.
Yes.
But it's
Danny,
not too
it's like
sweet.
5 minutes. It's done. It's the quickest.
Can I
thing
just
to
eat the
make.
powder?
I don't know about the powder, but I'm telling you, Autumn makes a maple walnut version, and then there's this other peanut version.
I love her one with peanuts. I had tasted
well,
that.
Well, actually, some of our admins made those, and she just makes them because she had to take the photos,
Yeah,
so they
I
were
had
around
one of
our
those.
house.
So good.
Oh my goodness, better than a regular
Oh, yeah.
sugar sweetened cookie, and I don't usually say that because I love like a real thing of something.
You actually had a cookie issue once in your life.
yeah,
before Trim
I
Healthy.
love a good.
Who hasn't?
Like, Esther, Serene, your daughter-in-law who made our
Yes.
Trim Healthy Indulgence book. You know how her things are traditional. They taste right.
Oh yeah, they do.
Some of the things you and I have made is just because we want something sweet. Hey, this is
Yeah.
sweet. This is good.
Yeah.
But this cookie mix, it tastes right.
Yes.
It's like so good. So when it comes back, all I'm saying is there are ways to get that sweet fix and do it healthfully and do it that don't harm your body.
Right.